Good morning, everyone. I am Malika Marsden with Climate Action Campaign. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Malika Marsden with Climate Action Campaign. We are here today with our partners to announce the release of the third edition of our Climate Action Plan report card. Last fall, the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released a landmark report warning that we have 12 years to limit climate catastrophe. This scientific consensus confirmed what we already know here in California. Climate change isn't a future abstract problem. The climate crisis is here and now. Between the record-breaking heat waves, the deadliest wildfire in California history, and the Del Mar cliffs falling into the sea, we are already experiencing the climate crisis. And worse, because of a long history of environmental racism, climate change hits first and worst in low-income communities of color that already suffer disproportionate harm from environmental pollution. Climate change will touch every aspect of our lives. The air we breathe, the jobs that we work, the neighborhoods where we live, and the economy in which we operate. Only bold action can protect the people and places we love and ensure a safe and prosperous life for all. Which brings us to the Climate Action Plan report card. How well are our local governments doing to take the kind of action we need? Let me share with you our findings, the good, the bad, and the ugly. First, the good. We're seeing genuine efforts from most cities to take action on climate, and that must be celebrated. In particular, there is great momentum behind climate action plans that commit to 100% clean energy, with Solana Beach reporting great results from the launch of their Community Choice Energy program, and 8 other cities in our region collaborating to move forward with community choice. Furthermore, city governments are starting to discuss the key connections between housing, jobs, and transit. And finally, we elected a record number of officials across the county who are committed to championing bold climate action. Special shout out to elected officials from Encinitas, National City, Carlsbad, Escondido, Imperial Beach, and Vista for committing to bold climate action. Now for the bad. The report card scores show that climate is still not a top priority for cities, with no cities achieving the gold standard for climate action. Cities are behind schedule on their goals and failing to make biking, walking, and transit viable options for efficient and affordable connections to jobs and housing. We are also failing to prioritize communities of concern in our climate efforts. We lack mechanisms that ensure frontline communities are the first to benefit from climate solutions, and we are failing to ensure that they participate meaningfully in the development of our climate solutions. And now for the ugly. The County Climate Action Plan, with its focus on building sprawl and avoiding transit solutions, jeopardizes all regional progress. We, as a region, are still not acting at the scale and the speed necessary to meet and exceed state targets and ensure a safe and livable future. While our climate action plans are a critical tool to fighting climate change, they're not enough, especially when cities act in isolation. To collectively meet our local, regional, and state targets, we need a bold vision that transcends boundaries and brings us together. Which is why we are announcing an ambitious new initiative a San Diego Green New Deal. Similar to the Green New Deal resolution pending in Congress, this plan commits us to creating catalytic change here in our own backyard through investments in infrastructure and industry that improve our quality of life as well as clean our air and water. This will be a vision to unite all 18 cities, the county, our universities, community colleges, transportation agencies, water districts, and our families from Oceanside to Imperial Beach. This will be a vision that promotes justice and equity for communities of concern. This will be a vision that ensures a just transition for workers by investing in high-paying middle-class jobs. This will be a vision that is developed transparently and inclusively. We have set the nationwide standard for how to develop game-changing climate plans and shift to 100% renewable energy. Now let's expand this model to detail how we can continue to fight poverty and pollution. In the months to come, we will be convening a wide cross-section of community leaders and members in the region, including the leaders here today, to work out the details of how we can actually make this work. It is easy to see the climate crisis as a threat and freeze in fear. But instead, we invite you to embrace this moment as our biggest opportunity to unite and prosper while also building a world-class region. Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce Joyce Lane from San Diego 350.
Good morning. My name is Joyce Lane and I'm with San Diego 350. San Diego 350 is an inclusive volunteer organization devoted to building a movement to prevent the worst impacts of climate change and climate injustice. We strive to create a future that supports a livable planet and a just society. Climate change poses an existential threat, not just to our way of life, but to life itself. As the climate crisis intensifies, economic policies continue to exacerbate income inequality, and low-income communities of color continue to suffer disproportionately from climate change impacts, dirty air and dirty water. That the threat from climate change is real, immediate, and accelerating has also become obvious to growing numbers of Americans. It now affects their daily lives and livelihoods. The last year alone saw scores of deaths and billions of dollars in damage in the United States as rising temperatures amplified the impact of extreme weather events and wildfires. This is the backdrop in which the Green New Deal has emerged. This vision is of a massive program of public investments aimed at transforming both the energy sector and the entire economy. It is intended to create clean energy jobs and infrastructure, to decarbonize our economy, and to promote economic justice. The notion of a Green New Deal is supported by 80% of American voters. The idea has gained traction at this moment in history because it promises solutions to meet the needs of everyday Americans, while also addressing the needs of young people and future generations, for whom the fight against climate change is literally a fight for their lives. San Diego 350 has been urging our local congressional delegation to support the Green New Deal because climate change demands urgent, sweeping solutions, and because the Green New Deal ensures that climate solutions aren't divorced from environmental justice and income inequality. We have already secured a statement of support from Juan Vargas from the 51st Congressional District, and we will continue to demand climate leadership from the rest of our congressional delegation. We're excited to see that the Climate Action Campaign wants to bring a similar vision to San Diego. This would bring the urgency and comprehensive approach of the national movement back home to fully implement local climate action plans, transform our regional transportation system, support workforce development with high-paying union jobs, and bolster the resiliency of our region to the impacts of climate change. We look forward to working with partners dedicated to a just, equitable, and climate-safe future to bring forward a bold vision with concrete strategies for climate action in the San Diego region. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Now I would like to introduce Maria Mohammed with I Am My Brother's Keeper.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Mohammed. I am from IMBK Green. IMBK Green is an environmental literacy certification course for green social enterprises and green forest workforce development. We have had great success in connecting our community members with green jobs. That is our purpose, to diversify the face of sustainability and make sure the communities of concern that are disproportionately impacted by socioeconomic and environmental issues become a part of the solution for their own challenges that face their communities, our communities. I've also co-founded the Southeast San Diego Sustainability Coalition, whose goal is to empower residents by connecting them to the resources they need to become the change makers their communities need and deserve through access to sustainability-related education, jobs, social enterprises, and resources like solar panels, electric cars, and good, wholesome food. In 2018, the coalition members identified an opportunity in mobile home parks here in the county and city of San Diego for weatherization and resiliency projects. The idea is that the partners in the coalition would do education and outreach about climate change, how mobile home park residents are already practicing sustainability through necessity, and being a part of the solution, and also, of course, about the climate action plan. We'll also train homeowners in the park to do home energy audits, weatherization, solar installation, so that they can not only become a part of the green collar workforce, but they can also benefit from energy savings. Research has found that in mobile home parks, residents use at least 25% of their income just for energy. This is a great opportunity for us to change that and be the change that we need in our communities. But this project is just the tip of the iceberg. The possibilities for our communities to benefit from a greener economy are endless. The CAT report card shows that we have a long way to go to implement all the strategies needed to meet the local, state climate targets in many of our communities. That means workforce opportunity, a way to put food on the table and be a part of the solution to the biggest crisis facing us all, which is climate change. At San Diego, Green New Deal is an opportunity to put our heads together and figure out how to put our communities to work, retrofitting our homes and streets, installing rooftop solar, planting and caring for our neighborhoods, trees to cool our streets, and growing and selling healthy food for our communities. This is a moment of crisis, but it's also an opportunity to make our local economy work for those who have been left behind. And for me, that's what the San Diego Green New Deal is all about. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Maria. Now I would like to introduce Eddie Price from Grid Alternatives.
My name is Eddie Price, and I'm with Grid Alternatives. Grid Alternatives is the international low-income solar program. We have 9 offices in the state of California, 9 or 10, Colorado, DC. We just opened up a low-income solar program in the state of Illinois. People often think that equity and equality mean the same thing, but equality just means everyone gets the same thing. They give a palm tree over there, they give a palm tree over here. Equity means they already got 400 palm trees and they don't have any palm trees. So to address equity, we must put more palm trees over there first before we talk about equality. When we take that was ad-lib, so that wasn't on the script. That's why I'm lost. When we take action to stop climate change, if we don't start with equity, we're going to end up widening the gaps between those who have benefited in our system and those who have not. Electric vehicles that may reduce emissions but are available only to the wealthy and are out of reach to my community don't benefit my community. Car chargers don't benefit my community if nobody has an electric vehicle. San Diego's CAP includes a commitment to equity, but that commitment is largely missing from other cities' climate plans, which means as a region, we're not doing the work to ensure that we're undoing the damage that created environmental justice in the first place. Which means as a region, yes, I'm repeating this, which means as a region, we are not doing the work to ensure that we're undoing the damage that created environmental justice in the first place. And even in San Diego, we're not seeing the promise that communities on the front lines will be the first to benefit from climate action fully realized, which is actually equity. There are communities of concern everywhere, so every city should be building equity into their climate plans. Communities of concern everywhere are disproportionately affected by climate change and need us to be concerned about them and to reach out to them to make sure that they become the first to benefit. A community of concern is not just a community of color. It's also a senior citizens community. It's mobile home parks. It's places that don't normally get love. We need a new Green Deal that will be a new deal for communities of concern in our region. We have been ignored for so long and offered so many false promises that they are, in many cases, distrustful. The work of centering communities of concern in the solution requires taking time to build relationships, to listen, to fund some stuff, that wasn't in there either, and to see from others' perspectives. I'm looking forward to being a partner in this conversation to create a San Diego Green New Deal that will take the action that's needed on climate and make sure that my community enjoys the social, environmental, economic benefits of the transition to a clean energy economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Now I'd like to introduce Vianney Ruvalcaba with City Heights CDC.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Vianney Ruvalcaba. I'm Transportation and Planning Coordinator at the City Heights Community Development Corporation. And thank you for being here today. I just want to mention that we're standing in a really special place right now. Terralta Park, this park, is the only freeway cap park in California, and it was the first one in North America. And it is part of the legacy of the Visions Project, which sought to bring community-driven alternative vision to the construction of the SR-15, which we can hear right now on this side. Since the 1980s, it's the Visions Project that's been going on. This community-led planning effort led to this marvelous public open space over a major freeway and to the Centerline transit stations. There's one over there on University and one on El Cajon. Plans for the SR-15 threatened to tear City Heights apart and led to a decades-long effort by community leaders to save their neighborhood through innovative urban planning solutions, including a freeway cap park and an efficient rapid transit system that took advantage of a massive highway project meant for automobile travel. The Rapid 235, which stops at these stations, takes City Heights residents from mid-city to downtown in only 9 minutes and connects them to regional transit lines reaching most of our region. This is significant because City Heights has the highest number of zero-vehicle households in our region. Public transit riders live here and in other environmental justice communities, and we all know that public transit riders are our climate heroes. Regional transit connections that effectively connect the communities that ride transit to their schools and their jobs are crucial to getting the most of us out of our cars. Last month, the South Bay Rapid 225 launched full service from downtown to the Otay Mesa Port of Entry through eastern Chula Vista. Over 100,000 people cross the U.S.-Mexico border every day through our 2 major ports of entry to get to work, to their schools, to run errands, to visit friends and family, and many of these people live their lives on both sides of the border. The South Bay Rapid is a huge victory for transit riders, who often spend hours at the port of entry trying to get to their destinations in San Diego. The South Bay Rapid gets folks from the Otay Mesa port of entry to downtown San Diego in just under an hour, connecting eastern Chula Vista to downtown along the way. That trip was 4 hours before the South Bay Rapid some days, yeah. We need more rapid projects like the 235 and the 225. Our transportation network is still not fundamentally oriented to serve transit riders with dignity, convenience, and efficiency. It should not take decades for high-quality transportation projects like these to get built. Our communities have waited long enough for a world-class transit network. The automobile pollution produced because of a lack of a convenient transit network is wreaking havoc on our hearts and in our lungs, and accelerating the climate crisis that threatens us all. The South Bay Rapid and Rapid 235 can serve as examples for the kinds of projects that we need to be scaled and replicated as part of a comprehensive vision for an integrated, effective regional transit network. And projects like these will only be possible through real, community-driven effort that takes into account the needs and visions of transit riders, cross-border communities, and those who have been at the margins of the decision-making table. So I'm happy with the work that Climate Action Campaign is doing and with the recommendations of the report card, because this brings us a step closer to these goals. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vianney. And last but not least, we have Miriam Rodriguez with the Improving Transportation in City Heights Momentum team with Mid-City CAN.
Hi, my name is Miriam Rodriguez, and I am a community advocate with Improving Transportation in City Heights, also known as ITCH Momentum Team in Mid-City CAN. And I'm a parent leader of San Diego Unified School District. I'm part of ITCH because I'm part of City Heights. I witnessed firsthand the challenges of transportation with my neighbors. I have neighbors that are working families facing many challenges, such as rent increase and families losing their homes, where I see our students being affected and stepping down from leadership opportunities with transportation barriers. I'm a parent in City Heights that envisions equal opportunities for all of our students. Since 2011, ITCH has been advocating for youth opportunity passes, no-cost transit passes for youth in San Diego to connect our students to the opportunities they deserve and where cost should not be a barrier. When youth have the opportunity to use public transportation at no cost, we're creating a culture of lifelong transit riders, which leads to less traffic that promotes a clean and healthy environment with less vehicle emissions. Equity is about more than just outcomes. It's about a fair process too. In order to create change, government processes need to be inclusive and responsive to community needs and voices. This is why we're asking our elected officials to invest in the communities that are impacted the most by climate change and high costs of living. We have been working for decades with regional transportation systems, and since the start, their process has not been designed to work with our communities. Our youth deserve better and need San Diego to step it up. With the Regional Green New Deal now, nuestros jóvenes necesitan el cambio ahora. This is why we're here in support of Climate Action Campaign to make sure our youth and our community are prioritized with equitable climate solutions. Let's commit and make this happen today. Yes.
Thank you so much for everyone coming today and speaking today. We invite you to unite with us to come together and take bold climate action. Thank you so much.
Donuts. That's the only reason I'm here is donuts.